My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review for The House. And no, I'm not talking about that terrible Will Ferrell and Amy Poehler movie that came out a few years ago. I'm talking about one of the latest Netflix animated movies. Now, this is a movie that I was looking forward to because I saw the poster. It looked like stop motion, and that was more than enough for me to get me on board with it. So last night I watched it, and after I watched it, I was just like, okay, I love the first story. The other two are okay. I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10. But I slept on it. And I'm glad I did because the more I think about this movie, the more I love it. This is a great animated movie that I can't recommend enough. Now, the stop motion animation is just so beautiful. There's so much artistry behind this movie that it's impossible not to be impressed. The amount of love and passion put into it is as clear as day, and I love how each of the three stories look distinct from one another. I looked into it, and each one's directed by someone else, and you can tell. There's the same amount of love and care and passion put into each one, but they do have their own visual style, and it's just so imaginative and unique and beautiful. And I just respect this kind of work. Now, each story is a standalone story, but the more I think about this movie, the more I realize that there's deeper themes connecting them all. Whether it's the whole idea of materialism or how you spend your life and what's important to you, those ideas connecting them all. And I just can't stop thinking about this movie. You know when someone's talking about the movie and they're just like, oh, well, the blue curtains show that the person is sad. And you're just like, shut up. Well, I'm that person with this movie. I'm just looking into it, analyzing it, trying to find the deeper meanings because there's so much there that you can dig into. It's the perfect level of thought-provoking. Well, it seems like a simple story, but the more you think about it, the more that you look into the visuals, the more you realize that there's more going on than you initially thought. And it's just one of my favorite kind of thought-provoking movies. I just can't stop thinking about. Okay, but the first story is called And Hold Within a Life is Span, and this is still my favorite story of the bunch. This movie starts off incredibly strong. In fact, I think this section is just pure perfection. I just love everything about it. The characters feel fully fleshed out. It's got a very creepy and eerie tone to it. And just the way the story progresses really stayed with me. And there's still stuff that I'm trying to figure out here. Like there's a man, and I'm not sure what he represents, but they go about him in a very interesting way. And I think there's something there to do with a deal with the devil, but I'm not entirely sure. But I'm just trying to figure it out, and I'm just loving doing so. There's definitely something here about class status and materialism, and it's just like this one kind of feels like Coraline. Coraline is one of my favorite movies ever, and it's not like the one-on-one comparison, but lots about what I love about Coraline is present here, and I just love this one a lot. It's absolutely phenomenal. The second one is called Then Lost is Truth That Can't Be Won. Now, while I was watching this, I was just like, okay, this is okay, and then it ends really, really strong. But the more I think about this one, the more I love it too. Like, there is a lot here. I think it has to do with mental illness and trying to put up appearances. And there's definitely some stuff here to do with materialism. And there's just a lot to dissect here. I just really love it. And it's so different from the first story. And the ending of this one is really gross and effective. And I completely dug it. Now, there is a musical number here. And I don't know if anyone else has drawn up this comparison, but it reminded me of Cats. Yes, that Cats, that live action Cats musical. There's a scene in this one, in this segment, that reminded me of a scene in Cats. And it was just done a lot better here, and it's just such a unique, great scene. And yeah, I really love this one too. The last one is called Listen Again and Seek the Sun. And I didn't really care for this one at all while I was watching it. But I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking about what the other stories are about and how it ties into this one. And man, I can't stop thinking about this one either. Like, there's definitely something here about accepting things for how they are. How sometimes you have to let go. And how, at the end of the day, the stuff you own isn't important, it's the people in your life. And this one has a more hopeful feeling to it compared to the creepy eeriness of the first two. And I don't know, the more I think about this one, the more I like it, and just the way everything ties in together, it's just so fantastic. And yes, the first story is absolute perfection, the second one is great, and the third one is really good, but so it gets progressively worse, but everyone is at the very least very good, and I can see my love raising for this movie. Like, I really love thinking about it. And this movie just really worked for me. This is the kind of filmmaking that I love, with so much love and passion put into it, and how you can dive deeper into every single thing that's present, whether it's someone looking at lights or what's going on. And I do think there is a purpose in the order these stories are told, not just in hopelessness to hopefulness, but also how time progresses. And I just think there is so much here in every single one of these stories, in the movie as a whole. The animation is beautiful. The score by Gustavo Santaolalla is great. When I saw his name, I'm just like, yes, it's one of my favorite composers, the guy who did Last of Us. I really love the end credit scene, and man, I really dug this movie a lot. Like, I loved it, and I can't recommend it enough. So I'm going to go ahead and give The House an 8 out of 10. If you haven't seen this movie, watch it. Watch it with an open mind and just enjoy it for what it is, and try dissecting what each thing means, because there is a lot here. But anyways, did you watch The House? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon, and Gavin out.